product research during COVID-19. Can you still find profitable products to sell on Amazon during COVID-19? Is it still a good time to launch those products? How do you know that the data isn't completely skewed with this pandemic? And so much more is going to be covered right here in this video series. And actually, this is a two-part video series. And in this video, I'm going to show you how to number one, find products, profitable product opportunities during COVID-19 to sell on Amazon. And then number two, how to validate those product ideas even during COVID-19. And this is the exact same Amazon product validation criteria. I'm going to give you my exact worksheet, all of the tools that I use, which by the way, you can do all of this for 100% free, no paid tool needed, which is always a bonus. All that's going to be the description section, but I'm literally covering everything step by step. Things that $1,000 Amazon FBA courses don't even cover, you'll find in this video. And again, this is the part one of the part two series. In video number two, I'm going to show you how to estimate how many units you'll need to order during the pandemic and kind of how to go about thinking and planning for that. So ordering products and also seeing how profitable your product ideas are so you can select the best product idea to reach out to suppliers for. All of this and so much more covered very, very soon. But first, really quickly, all I want to say is that if you find the content valuable, which I've done my absolute best to make that the case, that you let everyone else know by just giving the video a thumbs up. If you have any questions or any way that we can help, anything you'd like to add to the conversation, be sure to let us know in the comment section below. And lastly, if you like this video and want to see more videos like this, I have a lot of other great videos currently on this channel and a lot more coming very soon that I'm super excited for. So be sure to hit the subscribe button and the notification bell so you don't miss out. Okay, with all that being said, let's go ahead and find some profitable products. So in order to know if a product is going to sell well or not with relatively high demand and relatively low competition, even during COVID-19, first what we need is an actual product idea. So at this point, you may already have a product idea and you're like, hey Sumner, I have this idea. I just want to check it out and make sure it would still be good to go. There's still relatively high demand and low competition. That's great. But for those of you who don't, that's totally fine too. I'm just going to briefly run through my favorite in the product research method, literally exact product research method that I've been using to identify 3 brand new product listings that my wife and I will be launching in August. Keep in mind, I have a lot of other free product research methods here on the channel that require no paid tools, and a whole host of other ones. You can go ahead. I have a whole playlist on product research. You can check those out if you want. This specific research method, I use the Helium-10 magnet tool, which if you follow any of my stuff, I absolutely love. And they have a free trial, so you can actually use this for free. Just keep in mind there's a limited number of uses, okay? But this section specifically right here, I'll briefly cover how to find a potentially good product idea before we move into the next step. And if you already have a product idea, you can skip this section. However, I think you'll find this very, very valuable, okay? So step one, I don't think anyone else is going to tell you this, but it's extremely important for a few reasons. What you're going to do, this can be on a pen and paper or an Excel file or wherever. You're going to write down a list of attributes that describe you or a list of things that you like, activities, things that you like to do, things that describe you, just a list of things that you're interested in or that you're knowledgeable about, right? Which usually there's a lot of overlap. So in my case, maybe, and again, I'm just making this up, I'll say things like hot sauce, urban gardener, at-home brewing, entrepreneurship or entrepreneur, Brazil. These are different things that maybe I'd write down in my list. Christian, that'd be another one, right? And those are going to represent different niches, okay? So these are things that you're interested in, okay? And then what you're going to do is you're going to find products based in that, okay? So number one, if you find products based on what you're interested in, you're going to enjoy the entire process better. But maybe even more importantly, number two, is that you're going to be likely more knowledgeable about that niche or that market. So what a lot of Amazon sellers do, or at least first-time sellers do, and this is what I did when I started off, is I just chose a random niche. I'm like, oh, I just want a profitable product. There are great product opportunities in almost every single niche, or probably in every single niche. Okay, so what I recommend to you is find a niche or start somewhere that you're passionate and knowledgeable about, and I'll show you kind of how that works. So first, write down this list, things that describe you that you're interested in. Next, what you're going to do is you're going to take some of those things, right? Either those exact words or words that relate, product-related keywords. You're going to go get a free account with Helium-10. Go to the magnet tool, which you can find down here on the left-hand corner. Once you're here, go ahead and take one of those terms and type it up here in the search bar. So for example, hot sauce, brewing or brewery, or beer making, right? Urban gardening, sushi, Japanese, Brazil. it can be endless, right? The possibilities are endless. Just take something that you're passionate about, like a general topic. You're gonna take that topic, you're gonna put it right here into the search bar. You're gonna click on Get Keywords, and what this tool is going to do, and there's a reason I use this tool specifically, it's really cool, is it's going to give you all this, it's going to give you a list of related keywords. You can see here 1 through 10 right down here, and it goes on and on and on. There are literally thousands of keywords that relate to the topic that you typed in, okay? And what's really cool, and the reason I use this tool isn't just for these keywords, which are very important, but what you can do is you can actually organize the list by what's called Magnet IQ score, okay? And you can read this for yourself. I'm going to try to hover over it again. What the Magnet IQ score does is it will actually organize the list and basically try to identify and assign a score for relatively high demand, low competition, product related keywords. So obviously these are keywords, but if you type this keyword onto Amazon, you're going to find a product, right? So I use the term keyword and product interchangeably, but essentially it's going to organize this list of product ideas by high demand and low competition first, and then as it goes down. So the bigger the score, the better the opportunity. The bigger the score means higher demand and lower competition. And then the lower the score means high competition and maybe with low demand, right? So the lower the worse, the higher the better. And I'll just demonstrate. So I'm just going to go ahead and click on this, right? And it should organize my list in descending order. There we go. Again, the bigger the number, the better. Again, this is just general. And then what I'm going to do, once I've organized the list this way, I'm just going to scroll through, okay, and just I can have a pen and paper. I can do this in Google Sheets or wherever. I'm going to scroll through the list, and I'm going to look for product-related keywords that look really interesting to me, okay? And you may be thinking, all right, Summer, what does that mean? Or what do you mean by interesting? Here's what I mean. And the more you do this, the better you'll get at it. The first time, it'll take you a lot longer. But what you're looking for, these are the two words that I keep in mind when I'm looking through this list. These are two words I keep in mind. It's weird and niche. Those are the two words. So if I'm scrolling through, right, and I see the word toilet paper, I'm not going to write that down as a potential product idea. Why? Because it's so basic, generic. Everyone knows what toilet paper is. I already know it's going to be super competitive because everyone has it. You know, I'd be competing with Procter & Gamble or other big companies, right? So that's an example of something super competitive and very, it's not weird, it's not niche. However, let's give you an example. All right, sushi erasers. Now specifically it says sushi eraser 10 pack. But that just makes me assume, okay, there could be sushi eraser 1 pack, 2 pack, 10 pack, 20 pack, whatever. Okay, I don't really care about that pack. Just the idea of sushi erasers. That's very interesting because I know erasers are very common. That's not weird and that's not niche. But sushi erasers could be really interesting, right? So I write down that idea. That interests me. And look, it has a very high Magnet IQ score. This does not mean it's going to be a good idea. What this means is that this is an idea worth pursuing, if that makes sense. And I'll show you how this works. And what we're going to do is we're going to write down a list of these weird niche items. And I apologize if you guys have noticed my hands. I accidentally got, I'm being self-conscious right now, but I injured them. So I have like a lot of Band-Aids and some cream on it. So in case you see that, don't worry. You don't need to comment about it. I'm good. So we're going to make a list, weird niche products. It can be a huge list. On my list, I think I had about 200 products in the end because I go really hard on product research. But you can get started with 10 or 20, right? You're going to write these down, and then the next phase, what we're going to do is we're going to validate those ideas. We're going to see, okay, here's just an idea that I have. Is it good or not? And then the whole point you're watching this video is to tell you, yes, this is either a good idea or this is a bad idea, even during COVID-19. Okay, and again, this works during COVID-19 and after. All right, so going back, we'll just write this down. That sounds interesting. We'll keep scrolling through. It sounds like it's a type of sushi. Don't really care. Just want to give you a couple of sushi push pin. Could be interesting. Me with my knowledge, push pins. It may not be very profitable or maybe very, very low price point, but it could be worth writing down, especially if you're getting started off and you haven't done this before. They might very well be something that you write down because you're like, that's really weird. That's a really interesting sounding product. I want to learn more. Barbie sushi set. Barbie is probably trademarked. Don't want to. Sushi mat. That's interesting because I know about sushi mats. What's the difference with the sushi mat? And by the way, going back to what I said before, is if your starting point of product research is based on things that topics that you're interested in and knowledgeable about, when you're going through this, right? I don't know that much about sushi. I like sushi, but I don't know a lot about it. If you're, let's say, like a sushi fan or a sushi fanatic, and you're going through this, oh, and by the way, I'm just using this as an example. Let's say that you really love cooking, you're Japanese maybe, or you love Japanese cuisine or whatever it may be. You just love sushi for whatever reason, and that's why you started this, right? If you are knowledgeable about sushi, you could say sushi mat. Oh, I know exactly what that is. I wonder if there's relatively high demand, low competition on Amazon. Lazy sushi squishies. That could be interesting, and so on. There's actually a lot of very interesting products that I'd actually really love to look into more. A lot of food products, obviously, that I'm not really interested in, but the stickers and the sushi mat and the whatever, the squishies and the erasers, those are all very interesting. So I'm going to write down those in a list. Hopefully that makes sense. If you have questions, let me know in the comments, but I think I kind of covered that in enough depth. This is my go-to #1 by far product research method in order to find potential products. Then the next step is validate. Okay, so let's say that for some reason I came across this product idea called a sushi boat, and that sounds really interesting, and I want to see if sushi boats have relatively high demand and low competition during COVID-19 and afterwards. Okay, so what you're going to do is you're going to take your keyword, which in this case for this example is sushi boat, and you're going to insert it here into column A. Now, this Google Sheet, you can either recreate yourself, so you can watch through the video, recreate yourself, or you can get the pre-made worksheet that I've already made, and later on I actually have some formulas that are already built in here for you. You can access that in the description section of this video. Click on the link. I'll make sure you get a copy of this, and then with that copy, you can go ahead and make your own version, download, edit, do whatever you want with it. Okay, so you can either recreate yourself or download in the description section, whatever you want, but it's there for you. Okay, so again, we have a product idea. It's called Sushi Boat. We want to validate it. We want to see is this a good product opportunity or not, even during COVID-19. Type it in here to column A. Next, what we're going to want to do is we want to look at the average number of Amazon reviews for the top 8 to 10 sellers, as well as the median number of Amazon reviews for the top 8 to 10 sellers. Very, very simple, and I'll explain why. Okay, so we're going to go to Amazon.com. We're going to type in sushi boat, just like I've done here. Okay, and let's just say these are the top options. So we have, the top one. This is the first organic option. Oh, by the way, just a little tip. Ignore this. So when I type in sushi boat, right? Type sushi boat into Amazon. I scroll down. I see all these sponsored. I want to count past the sponsor. I don't want to include those. So I want to scroll down. There we go. It doesn't say sponsored here. Good to go. All right. This is where I want to start. So this is #1, #2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 8 can be good enough, but I like to go a little bit extra. 9, 10. Top 10. Okay. Then what I'm going to do is, so we have 6 reviews here, 2 reviews here, 3 here, 29 here, 9, and so on, right? I'm just going to take the average, which I've already done. Again, this is an example, so it's not exact, but it's about, let's say, 6.3. So the average seller of the top 10 has an average number of reviews of 6.3, right? Okay, very, very low compared to a lot of categories, all right? And then we also want to look at the median. For those of you that aren't familiar, the median is, for lack of a better word, it's the middle number, okay? So it's the middle, right? So we look at, okay, this seller, has the highest number of reviews. Here's the lowest number of reviews. Then there's the next highest and the next lowest. Then the next highest to that and the next lowest, and so on until we get to the middle number, okay? And and then in that case, it's 3.5. Because we're analyzing the top 10, we have to take the average in between the middle two here, okay? If that makes sense. If you have any questions or anything's confusing, I go too fast or I take too long, let me know in the comments. I'm trying to do my best here, but the reason for this, to have both the average and the median, by the way, this is my study in college, so this is why I'm very passionate about this, but I don't want to get too technical, is you want to see if there's a huge variance between the two numbers, okay? The greater the variance means that there's a bigger skew with the data. Meaning, for example, just envision this, and this is very important. Let's say that there's 10 top sellers on Amazon for Sushi Boat, and so 9 out of the 10 sellers have 5 reviews, and then one seller has 1,000 reviews. Okay, think about what the average would be. So the median would be 5. Okay, that's the median number because that's the middle number, right? So there's 1,000s the most, then 5's the lowest, then 5 is the next highest, and then 5's also the next lowest, and so on, because 9 out of the 10 have 5 reviews. One of them has 1,000. The middle number is 5, but the average is much higher than 5. So the bigger the difference between the median and the average means that there is likely 1 or 2 or a few sellers that are making up the majority of the reviews, okay? And what that shows to me, and what that can show to you, is that, okay, if there's a big difference, it's not a bad thing at all. But when you see that there's, when you see this, especially when you start adding more products into these next rows here, okay? And you start seeing that there's a big difference, with this product maybe than others, then you know that there's likely going to be one or two or a few really big dominant sellers in this category, okay? And that's just gonna help your overall research. But that's just kind of a tip that I wanted to give you, and hopefully that makes sense. Hopefully I didn't overcomplicate it. I almost didn't include it, but that's all you wanna do, right? And and why are we writing down a number of Amazon reviews? What does this have to do with anything? I really like to look at Amazon reviews because in order to get reviews, what do you need? You need to get sales. So reviews are actual data that are directly derived from sales. Okay, if there's reviews, there's kind of like smoke and fire. Now, with that being said, you're probably thinking, or your immediate thought is, well, Sumner, don't some sellers fake their reviews? Yes, this is true. However, when we're taking the average, when we're looking at multiple sellers, right, in a category, and when we're looking at a few other data points that are really important to help validate, it's essentially, if we're only looking at review data, that's only like one data point, okay, basically, right? So if you think about a table, and your product research method is your table, if you're only relying on one tool, like let's say you only use Jungle Scout or Helium 10, or you only look at Amazon reviews, that's like a table with only one leg. But then when we use multiple data points, which I'm going to show you in a second, which by the way are super simple and can be 100% free, you basically add more legs to your table. It's more sturdy, it's more stable, it's more accurate. Okay, that's the whole point, right? So yes, could some of these sellers be faking their review data? It's possible, but again, to me, don't really care as much because I have a lot of data points. And if you're really worried, you're like, okay, I'm recording the review data, but I'm really worried that people in this niche are skewing the data. They're falsifying. So they're getting sales, but they're like rebate sales. They're not real sales, right? They're not organic. What you can do is actually look at the review rate of those sellers. And if they have a super high review rate, meaning if they have a huge percentage of reviews to sales, right? So let's say for every 100 sales, they get 50 reviews. Right? That's huge. That's insane. Where most sellers, let's say they sell 100, they get 1 review or 2 reviews, and they're getting like 50. So something ridiculously high, which would be really, really high. That can kind of help show you, and again, that's going way too kind of in depth, but if you're really worried about that, look at the review rate. And if you have questions about that, let me know. If you'd like to see a video on that, I can make a video. But again, getting a little bit too much in the weeds, all you want to do right here is average number of Amazon reviews from the top 8 to 10 organically ranked listings on Amazon, as well as the median. Okay, I'm going to show how that plays in. But again, the reason we're talking about reviews and that we're recording the review data is because where there's smoke, there is fire. Where there are reviews, there are sales. So instead of just relying on a tool to tell me, which we will be using that too, I want to see what the actual review data is, right? That kind of helps me see the actual sales data as well. And basically, reviews also, along with kind of being indicative of sales data, they also are you're able to see kind of how competitive a niche is. So for example, when you're just getting started on Amazon with a brand new product, right? How many reviews do you think you're going to get started off with? A few, 2, 3, 4, 5 to 10 reviews when you're just starting off. So if you have 5 to 10 reviews when you're starting off and you're competing against, listings that have 3.5 or 6.3, you have really good chances of beating out those competitors in that competition. Now imagine if the review rate was much higher. Imagine if most sellers had, imagine if this was 1,000. You have 10 reviews, even if you have an awesome product, you have 10 reviews and your top competitors have 1,000, who do you think customers are going to choose? Now, there's a lot of other metrics that go into it. It's not just the review data, obviously, that goes into a purchase decision, of course, but it's hugely important for those two reasons. So one, reviews can kind of give us an estimate of sales data, right? And then number two is reviews can actually show us or tell us how competitive an industry or a niche is or a product category on Amazon is. So very, very important. And it's free. It's super simple. It's free. Might as well record it and have that data available to help influence your product research decision. And last thing I want to add about reviews, this is probably where I'll spend the most time. I'll go a lot faster with the rest of this, is I like to see this around 50. Okay, so this is super low. And you can see that for yourself. I mean, if we go back, these are extremely low reviews from most product categories that I think most of us are looking at. It's very, very low. If we go back here, okay. So I like to see around, 50 or so, right? Maybe a little bit more, maybe a little bit less. I don't have any hard numbers on this. Again, it's more of a spectrum, and I'll explain what I mean by that. But that's just kind of my criteria. So this is very, very low, meaning that sales may be pretty low. It could mean that just people are going on to Amazon, they're looking for a really awesome, cool sushi boat, and they're not finding any, so they're just not buying anything at all. And we're going to see if that's really true looking at these other data points, okay? Or it could just be there's just low demand. Okay, so there's either low demand or there's high demand, but the options on Amazon just suck and people just aren't buying, or they're not buying and leaving reviews too, okay? So that's
there could be a few things here, and we want to kind of unravel the story. All right, but that's kind of what's going on in my mind as I'm going through this. Okay, so we have Sushi Boat. We're looking at the reviews. Off the bat, I'm like, really low reviews. That's good, low competition, but is it also really low demand? Let's see, okay? So next, what we're going to do, okay, is we're going to look at a few things. So number one is we're going to look at Amazon keyword data for the term Sushi Boat. Number two, we're going to look at Google keyword data for the term Sushi Boat. Number three, we're going to look at eBay sales for this product. And then number four is we're going to look at the sales estimate. And again, kind of the demand estimate by sales for this product using a few different Amazon product research tools, which you can get free trials to, and I'll talk about that in just a second. So first, okay, the reason we're doing all of this is, again, we're building up legs for our product research table. The more data points, the more accurate. And basically, this is kind of telling us a story about this product. That's all this is. That's the way you can look at it. It goes through a lot from being analytical to almost like art, right? And the reason that we do this is because things online are just difficult to visualize. For example, I'm looking out my window right now, and there's this huge plot of land, and let's say in the middle of the land, there's this hole, okay? And if you were standing here right next to me, and I pointed at the hole and say, hey, do you see that hole, right? Do you see that hole in the ground? You would look and say, yeah, Sumner, I see the hole in the ground. So what, right? Now, think about this. I'm here in the screen, and if I show you a product on Amazon and say, hey, do you see that there's huge hole here? There's high demand for this product and very low competition. Do you see that? You would look and be like, maybe. You'd squint a little bit. You'd be like, it's harder to see. It's harder to see things online. It's a lot easier to see things in the physical world. Okay? So what we're doing is we're kind of helping us better visualize. This is really helping us almost like physically see the product better, or at least see the demand and the competition of the product better, even during COVID-19. Again, I use the exact same method almost the exact same method outside of COVID-19 than I do now, but it stands the test of time because we're using so many data points to help kind of inform our decision and paint the story. So with all that being said, hopefully you're finding this insightful. I try not to ramble on too much. So first, in order to get Amazon keyword data, there are a lot of different tools you can use. You can use Viral Launch, Jungle Scout, Helium 10, Seller Tools, a lot of different tools. What I like and prefer, especially because they have a free trial and because of how accurate I have personally found them to be, is Helium 10 Magnet Tool. So we've already used the tool, and you can get free access to this tool. So what you can do is, again, create a free account with Helium 10, or you can use whatever tool that you like. It's completely up to you. I like to go to Magnet. All right. I'm going to type in Sushi Boat, and what I get here, so I type in Sushi Boat, click on Get Keywords. Here's the again, this is an estimate. This isn't the exact. This is an estimate. That's why we're using multiple tools, because when a lot of estimates come together, you can kind of paint that picture. So the estimated search volume for Amazon is 1,607, meaning that this term, estimated by Helium 10, is typed into Amazon search engine 1,607 times per month. Okay, so we're going to go back to our sheet here, 1607. There we go. So that's the estimated monthly Amazon keyword data. And next, we're going to look at Google keyword data, right? Because we want to make sure that there is demand all across the internet, not just what's being estimated on Amazon. Okay, and in order to, or what my recommendation is for analyzing Google keyword data is using a tool called Ubersuggest. And you can kind of see that here, right? Ubersuggest.com. And Ubersuggest, number one, it's free. Number two, it's very accurate. So that's why I recommend it. I've used this for my own products. So what you do is go to Ubersuggest.com, type in whatever term, in this case, of course, it's Sushi Boat, click on search. And what Ubersuggest is going to do is give us the estimated search volume for this keyword for Google. Okay, and I'll show you how this all plays out. Don't worry. I know it seems like a lot at once, but I'll explain why we're kind of doing this in the end. So we type in Sushi Boat, and we're going to see something pretty interesting here. Okay, so Sushi Boat, search volume, estimated 12,100 per month, which is super high. For me personally, what my benchmark is when I'm using Ubersuggest, if I want to know if a product has relatively good demand, is if it has at least 100 monthly searches from Ubersuggest, okay? So for me, I'm happy when I see 500, and this is showing me 12,100, so that's really high. Now, another thing you want to do to take this to the next level is you may be thinking, wow, Sushi Boat, that's really, really high. I wonder why. What I'd recommend that you do is just like you did with Amazon, go to Google, type in Sushi Boat, and here's something interesting you're going to find, and again, you can do this on your own, is that when people type in Sushi Boat onto Google, it's very different than Amazon. On Amazon, people are looking for a product. On Google, when you type in sushi boat, a lot of people are looking for a restaurant that has the sushi boat. I've never had sushi boat, so I actually don't really know what this is, but having the sushi boat, I guess, experience, right? Or a sushi boat restaurant, something like that, right? So they're looking for services and maybe products. Okay, so I use this as a specific example, and I'm glad that I kind of ran into this because the same could have happened to you. So I just want to kind of call that out. Always kind of, again, use your common sense and kind of think about why things are. If there's something that's really seems really crazy, try to understand why that's the case. So type it into Google, see the reason. Like make sure that whatever keyword you're typing into Google, that you should be seeing products. And if you're not seeing products on Google, then what I'd recommend doing is making your search more specific. Okay, so. Sushi boat, people are also looking for restaurants. So what could I do to make this keyword more specific? Well, you can add in wood sushi boat or wooden sushi boat, right? That's a more specific type of sushi boat. And if you remember, we look at the options here, there are a lot of wood sushi boats. So maybe try wood sushi boat, maybe try plastic sushi boat and see which one has more demand. Again, you can do that on your own, but I'll just go ahead and do wood sushi boat just so you can see real quick. So you can either record this data in your Google Sheet or you can just record sushi boat overall and make a note of this. Okay, so 90, search volume of 90, not bad. Still relatively there. Again, I like to see at least 100, but still 90 is pretty close. That's good data for me. And really quickly, just to kind of show you guys, I'm actually doing this as an experiment. Plastic sushi boat. This is just what I do, and I kind of want to show you how it works. I'm super curious to see. 20. Okay, so we can tell that wood sushi boat, look, here's a great example. Wood sushi boat had estimated 90 search volume of 90. Plastic sushi boat has an estimated search volume of 20. All right. Now, what happens when we go to Amazon? Most of the options and the best sellers are wood. There are less plastic. There's more Google search demand for wood sushi boats. There are more options for wood sushi boats on Amazon. There are less searches on Google for plastic. There are less options on Amazon for plastic. Do you see how that kind of plays out? It's really cool. Again, I'm showing you the whole. I'm trying to visualize and kind of build the story. It's really cool when you start seeing, oh, like this isn't magic. This is real. This is real life. These are real people. It just seems like magic because it's the internet. But this, treat this like a formula. Treat this like you're looking for relatively high demand, low competition opportunities. And this is just a really cool way of kind of visualizing for me, like, wow, okay, there's high demand on Google, there's high demand on Amazon, there's low demand on Google, low demand on Amazon. Like it's very, there's a high correlation, which is very interesting. So just something I wanted to share. Hopefully you find that insightful. But yeah, so you could, wood sushi boat, you could take that, which is a search volume of 90 and plug that in here instead. Or you can leave this here and then over in this section, I left a little column here, column M for notes. If you want to make a note and say, hey, by the way, when people type in sushi boat into Google, they're not just looking for products, they're also looking for services. That's what I would do, okay? And so that's Amazon keyword data, Google keyword data. Then we want to look at eBay. So obviously Amazon is a much larger marketplace than eBay. However, eBay is still number 2 and still has a lot of demand. So usually, if there's a product that's selling really well on eBay, this could also be on Walmart.com or Etsy, right? There's a high likelihood these type of products are selling well on these platforms. They either are selling well on Amazon or they could sell really well on Amazon as well. Okay, so what we're going to do for eBay sales is we're going to go to ebay.com. We're going to type in sushi boat, okay, and we're just going to open in separate tabs. Again, I don't want to waste your time more than I maybe already have, hopefully not. And we're going to try to find the specific seller that has, or the specific product that has sold the most units. Okay, that's what we're looking for, just the top seller. That's all we care about. So let's just say in this case, this is the example. We went through a bunch, and what you can see, what's really cool about eBay is you can see the total number sold. Okay, so this product, okay, which by the way is a bamboo sushi boat, very interesting, sold 49. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this link, go back to column F here, and then in this row, I'm just going to go ahead and put in, or this cell, input the exact link so I can reference it later, and then I'm going to write down 49 for my eBay sales. Okay, so that was how much the top seller. You can do the same thing with Etsy. You can do similar with Walmart and other sites as well, Best Buy, right? Depending on your product, there may be certain sites that are better than others. Okay, and another cool tip that I kind of want to add is it's also really great for differentiation as well. So look at products, so in this case, sushi boat. Look at really good selling sushi boats on Etsy, on eBay, on Walmart. Even look at like sushi boat maybe pins on Pinterest that have a lot of repins, that have a lot of comments, that have a lot of saves. And if you're not familiar with Pinterest, basically a lot of likes and comments and all of that, right? So, just have a lot of, to where people are like, wow, this is a really cool design. So you can look at Pinterest, you can look at Etsy, and basically look at a product that's either selling really well, or in the case of Pinterest is a highly liked item. And you see that specific design and you say, so this design is selling really well on this platform. And then you go to Amazon, you're like, wait a second, but there's no product with this specific design on Amazon. So just as an example to kind of help you visualize, let's say, I'm making this up, let's say green sushi boat. Let's say we go to eBay and the number one bestseller was a green sushi boat. Then we go to Etsy and the number one bestseller on Etsy is a green sushi boat. But then we go to Amazon, and on Amazon there are 0 green sushi boats. What does that tell me? That's a high demand, that's a hole, right? That's a high demand, low competition opportunity. There are no direct competitors in terms of just the green sushi boat on Amazon. And I know that there's demand because I've seen that specific design is selling well on other e-commerce platforms. Okay, if that makes sense. Again, I'm trying to share as much as I can with you. That's a huge tip. I could charge for that, but of course I'm not going to. But hopefully you find that helpful. Just a little tip for differentiating. Okay, not just with validating, but also differentiating. So eBay sales, again, you can add in Etsy and Walmart and Best Buy, but now you know kind of why and where you can do that. And then don't worry, guys. Then what we're going to do is we're going to actually look on Amazon itself. Again, because we looked at Amazon keyword data, we looked at Google keyword data, we looked at eBay and maybe Etsy and Walmart data, and now we're going to look at Amazon sales data. So not keyword data on Amazon, but sales data, at least estimated sales data by different tools. Okay, so what we're going to do is go back to Amazon.com. We're going to scroll up. And usually what I like to do first is kind of identify what the bestseller would be. In this case, it might be a little bit different. Usually you can tend to find the best 1 to 2 sellers in the category because they tend to have more reviews. They clearly have better photos and copywriting. A lot of times they'll have the Amazon bestseller badge, right? So you can do it this way and kind of look through. And my guess it would be this one right here, right? With the 16 reviews, it's ranked organically fairly high. And did it have the Amazon choice in there? It's the Amazon choice badge. So this likely is the bestseller. So you can either do it this way, and this way I would open this in a new tab. And then once I've opened this into a new tab, what I can do is I want to use 3 different tools. And the reason I'm using these 3 different tools is for number 1, accuracy. And number 2 is each of these tools offers a free trial that you can use because, again, I'm all about saving money. I'm not just trying to push affiliate links, okay? So this is likely the bestseller, all right? Based on the number of reviews, Amazon choice badge, all of that. What you're going to do is you want to get 3 tools, or this is what I'd recommend. You can do whatever you want. Helium 10 Chrome extension, the eGrow Chrome extension, and the Viral Launch Chrome extension. Viral Launch, eGrow, and Helium 10. These are the 3 that I would recommend. I have links to these in the description. Those are affiliate links, but however, keep in mind that you can go ahead and click on those links and just get a free trial, okay? All of them offer free trials, which I'm actually going to be using the free trial right here just to show you. And so yeah, bestseller. We're going to click up here once we get the Helium 10 Chrome extension. Go ahead and click on the Helium 10 Chrome extension. Specifically, we want to use the X-ray tool. Click on X-ray. And what this is going to do, if you haven't used a tool like this or before, is we can actually see the estimated revenue. And as you can see here, this product has multiple variations, right? So there's, I think, 6 variations here? Yeah, 6 variations. And I'm specifically showing you this example just to show you that what I do when I'm using any of these tools is I go through the revenue here, and what most people think is that, okay, so this variation here makes, an estimated $2,300 per month in revenue. This variation here, right, the next one makes $1,300, the next one $1,650, and so on. And you think, oh, wow, so collectively this listing is making a lot of money because each of these is making over $1,000 or over $1,500. That's not the case. Usually what I've found is that I look through and look at the biggest number. So in this case, $3,821 per month. That's the biggest number. And this big number, that's how much the total listing, all the variations combined, likely make. Again, this is based on my experience, based on my own research, and based on testing this with my own products as well to kind of test tools to see how legitimate they are, which is, again, why I recommend these 3. They're very, very accurate for my own testing and research. So likely this entire listing, 3,821. So this is what Helium 10 is showing us, is the estimated revenue per month. So I go back to my sheet, right? X-ray, we write that number in. Let's say it's 3,821. We go back, okay, go back to Amazon.com, hit X. Then we're going to go to eGrow, and we're going to do the same thing, okay? So we'll go to eGrow, let it load, again, and then Viral Launch, the exact same thing. Again, you can get free trials with all of these tools. It takes some time to load, so I won't go through all three, but let's go through just real quick. And look, again, this is why you want to use multiple tools and not just one. The revenue here is obviously much lower than what Helium 10 is reporting. It's actually indicating for a total be 682, okay? So a huge difference, right? This is why you want to use multiple tools. So we had X-Ray estimated that the listing was generating $3,821 per month. eGrow estimates 682. Now eGrow may be estimating and already breaking it out. That's per per variation, right? But that's why we want to use multiple tools. And then lastly, we'd use Viral Launch. I already went through and did Viral Launch, and that is 2,456. Okay, so 3 tools. Again, one table with 3 legs is better than one table with 1 leg. So that's why we're using 3 tools, free trials, all that. Like, in my view, there's absolutely no reason not to do this. And then lastly, what we want to do is we want to take the average. So you can see I took the average right here in this cell, which on average is 2,320, obviously, or 2,320. Obviously, there's some big difference here. But our goal here, and this is the key point that I want to make, and I had to kind of say this after I got through everything, is that the data isn't just for itself, okay? We're not just looking for the data in of itself. And what I mean by that is, okay, we should have a very large list of products, right? I like to have at least 10 to 20. In this case, my previous list I think was 50. I think it was between 50 to 75 products, meaning I literally had 50 to 75 of these rows filled out, okay? And then what you want to do is one by one, fill out the row just like I did here. Go to your next option. So maybe it's like sushi erasers, right? So maybe it's like sushi erasers or whatever. Then I fill in this entire row with the data and so on until I have a few products. Then what you want to do, okay, this is after the fact, then you go through and then you look at, okay, 2 things. I like to look at Amazon reviews and then everything else, okay? So I like to look at, okay, what products on this list, after I have a pretty complete list of at least 5 to 10 is where I get started with. Once I have at least 5 to 10 products on this list with everything filled out, I look at, okay, what products have the lowest number of average Amazon reviews and lowest number of median Amazon reviews, right? Because low reviews means it's going to be less competitive. It's going to be easier to compete, right? If you have 10 reviews competing against someone with 6 reviews, that's going to be easier to compete. If you're competing against someone with 1,000, that's harder. So the lower reviews, the better, okay, overall, right? So what we're looking for specifically is, okay, look at the products that have the lowest Amazon reviews and have the highest Amazon keyword data, Google keyword data, eBay sales, and average estimated Amazon sales over here in this column, okay? So again, not all these will all be the highest, but overall, what you're gonna see something very interesting, and that is that overall, you'll see, okay, average Amazon sales for this product are really high. Oh wait, the eBay sales are also really high. Oh wait, the Google keyword data is really high. Oh, the Helium 10 data is really high. Like, you'll see that overall, all of these different metrics are actually pretty high, right? And you'll see that, and that's why we use multiple tools, because again, this kind of helps tell a better story. A lot of people think they only rely on one tool like Helium 10 or Jungle Scout or Viral Launch, and they rely on some kind of score, which I've never used. And it's completely misleading, right? This could actually be a great product idea, and it probably has a terrible score, right? I have to do some more validation and look into this a little bit more. But again, what your goal is not just to look at the product in of itself, it's to get more data. Then you can kind of see, how great or how terrible any particular product idea is. Okay, and again, just a few points of, how do I know if a product is good or not, even during COVID-19. Like I said, I like to see around 50. That could be less than 50 or a little bit more than 50, but I like to see 50 for the average and median Amazon reviews. Helium 10 keyword data, at least 400. For Uber Suggest keyword data, at least 100. Again, this is just my personal criteria. eBay sales and Etsy sales and Walmart sales does not matter as much to me. This is more for comparison. So I don't really have a general number. It doesn't work like that. I like to see that comparatively, right? Because I might see, wow, this product sells really well on eBay or Etsy, but it doesn't sell well on Amazon. Well, maybe it doesn't sell well on Amazon because there are terrible options available. The photos aren't very good. They're very, very expensive. They are not designed well, etc. Okay? So that's why I use that. And then also, again, overall, I like to look at the average estimated Amazon revenue and see which is kind of the highest. And then for this, I like to see at least 5,000. For me personally, with where I already am, anything less than 5,000, and even that can be a little bit low, is not really worth my time. However, if you're just getting started and you really want to learn Amazon FBA, generate a little bit of profit first, just to get a feel for it, then definitely there's plenty of sellers that are completely missing, products with 4, 3, 2,000 estimated monthly sales. So that could be a really great opportunity. And again, this video is kind of overall product validation. Now, this is again part 1. Part 2 video, which I'll link below in the description, we're actually going to be covering the next half. I know this was a lot, but the next half of this sheet. Again, you can get access to this entire sheet in the description section of this video. And in the next section, in part 2, I'm going to be giving you kind of my opinion about how to calculate your initial purchase order. Basically, how many units should you be ordering? Why should you order that many units and not less or not more? Is this product going to be profitable or not? Is this product trademarked or patented? All of that is going to be covered in the next video to kind of hopefully round out and make this complete. I want to include it in this one, but I know this is already kind of long. I hope you found this valuable. If you have any questions, let me know in the comment section here, and be sure to join our Facebook group. You can ask me anything there. That's actually a really great place for I can give more in-depth answers and get more in-depth answers to all your questions. And if you liked the video, be sure to give me a thumbs up. If you want to see more videos like this, there's a lot of other great videos currently here on the channel. I have a whole product research playlist that you can check out. A lot of great value there that a lot of other people are literally charging thousands of dollars for. So be sure to subscribe, hit the notification bell, and as always, thanks so much for watching. Hope you found this tremendously valuable, and I look forward to seeing you in future videos.